Alright guys, thanks for checking in Stormtopia.com and the Stormtopia.com Facebook page, and here we are again talking about another bunch of storms. Now tomorrow's storm is really not going to be something to get excited about for almost all of I-95. It's going to be a rain event with an inch or less for just about all the big cities. Now once you get to the northward, I'm going to explain my forecast thinking in just a bit with my model of choice, actually one that I don't think's get enough pride, the Seraph. It's a 1 to 3 inch event where you get some snow here, lasting for at least a couple hours from Boston down from White Plain, New York, through central PA, eastern Ohio. Some spots in eastern Ohio could admittedly get more, and then from there northward it's 1 to 3 plus. And then where your heavier bands of snow develop, okay, it's a 4 to 7 inch snowfall in northern Pennsylvania, capital district of New York, okay, the Hudson Valley, likely the northern portions of the Hudson Valley, western central Massachusetts, Maine coast through central New England. There's also, although it's a widespread 4 to 7 inches, there's also potential for an isolated 7 to 10 inch amount in the higher elevations from the Poconos and into the higher elevations of central New England. Now, my model of choice, again, the Seraph model. Let's take a look at the Seraph. And this is basically what it's showing as of right now. This is into the 15Z run. Here we are out to 9 hours. This is, when is this? Okay, out to 12 hours. This would be, and here we are. So here we are at Saturday morning. You can see the low is moving off Hatteras. There are multiple low pressure centers associated with the storm, and as we make our way into the afternoon hours, the precipitation is going to be spreading back through the mid-Atlantic as rain, likely going to be some sleet and freezing rain and snow mixed in here from the Pennsylvania area back through northern New Jersey. New York could get it for an hour or two, but I really wouldn't get excited about anything in New York. There's going to be all rain and possibly some drainage problems in New York City. And here we are at the afternoon hours, batch of precip across all the Northeast, some heavier through Ohio, and then some heavier amounts through southern New England. Here's the capital district getting some snow by the evening hours. And then you go through the nighttime hours. Heavier snow develops from northern Pennsylvania, moves northeastward over the capital district, through central New England, western Massachusetts. Since the low pressure center is going to get close to Boston, I'd imagine that they're going to get some mixing, which will cut down on accumulations, and they should see 1 to 3 inches. And then the low pressure center passes off east, and it's a nice day by Sunday. So that's with that storm. Again, guys, this map's gonna be available below this on Stormtopia.com, and you can view any updates which may be necessary to the map. Now let's take a look at our big storm potential, which I've been saying since Wednesday that there's big time storminess for the East Coast February 9th through 12th. And then the model started showing it Thursday, and now we're at Friday, and the hype is building up. But I have been saying it before the models even showed it, which I think is a record. But let's just see. Don't want to get too cocky here. Let's get into the actual forecast. Here's the 12Z GFS. Total garbage as usual. Just sends the thing offshore, and I don't really see why anyone wants to trust the GFS when it's so sporadic. I mean, a couple days ago it was a big storm. Now it's offshore, and it's going to be like that until 72 hours before the event. Okay, the European has a higher standard of living here. Let's say the Euro, and basically what the Euro what does is develops a low out of the central plains, pushes it east, a lot of moisture from the Gulf, and that ends up developing a heavy shield of snow from Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, that develops back through the Ohio Valley, through the Tennessee Valley primarily, then up in the mid-Atlantic. The low pressure center passes off Virginia Beach, and then your heavy shield of snow shifts through the northeast, perhaps a change to rain for a few hours along the immediate coastline, blah blah blah. Typical coastal storm on the Euro. The Canadian, out to 144 hours, brings the heaviest precipitation south of where the snow is, except in the heartland and except in the Tennessee Valley. Actually the Canadian is probably a pretty northward warm guidance product, and not too much snow on the Canadian. But I think the Euro has the best handle on this event, not just because I want a storm and hoping it's right, because it shows a storm, but I think it just if you think about it, the Euro for a lot of the storms this winter shows a storm. Models are sporadic. People are jumping around, and then the Euro changes, and then the models change, and then it goes offshore, then it's back onshore, and then eventually by the end of the time, within 24 hours of the event, it's clear that the Euro was right the whole time, and that that these crazy GFS and Canadian lovers were not doing a good job on the forecast, but by then no one really wants to notice. They're just too busy wrapped up in themselves because they're going to get a storm. And I think that's the way it's going to be for the rest of the winter, so I'm expecting a major storm for a lot of the East Coast, February 9th through 12th. Too early to say too much, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Have a great day.